Tuned in to 92.3 Nigeria Info.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Diode.
Hello, good afternoon to you and welcome to today's edition of Hard Facts, originally live from your number one talk station, where 92.3 Nigeria Info, and we're located here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. And by the way, join us live. We're on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. We're on Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. YouTube as well, Nigeria Info PH. Catch our podcast also. Join the conversation, listen live, watch live, catch up on what you may have missed on any of the shows at whatever time is convenient for you. We've got numbers to call to join the conversation as well. I'll give that out much later on. But I hope you've had a fine day today, and things are, working out, and things are looking up. And the future looks bright, as bright as the sun is shining today. It's a hot day today. Not bad, better than the rain, I suppose. But I hope the future looks at least as bright as that. And the future can be a whole lot brighter. Speaking of bright futures, the future can be a whole lot brighter if you vote smartly and you vote wisely in next year's general elections. Really, it's that simple actually. It's not complex. It's not as difficult as, honorables and excellencies try to make it seem to you. You know how they go? You people don't understand how government is a lie. We understand how government works. Quite the contrary, it's honorables and excellencies who have no idea how government works. And that's why a great number of them, when they do get into those positions, they mess everything up and then cover it up with, you people don't understand how government works. That's a huge lie. So, if you want that bright future, vote smartly and vote wisely as far as the next elections are concerned. Yeah. Welcome again. From now to 7, we're going to be taking a look at a number of issues. And once again, you are welcome to join in. Well, here's a quick preview of what to expect on the show today. I do have side comments coming up shortly, random stories and random source that caught my attention. Once again, a reminder, for what might very well be the 1 billionth time, my side comments are not to be discussed now. Much later on, after the 6 p.m. major news during the open season segment, I'll take your thoughts on my side comment and every other matter discussed on the show during that segment. Basically is a review or a recap of all the matters that have come up on the show. Alright, I hope you finally got it. Now, after today's side comment, as usual, I have got a rant coming up. Something in my mind will express some thought on that, and I'll be taking reactions from you till 4 p.m. 4 features business news, and let's see what's up after that. Amina Mohammed collects over tweet allegedly. If you haven't figured out what the word tweet collect means in this context, hopefully you get it before the end of this year. But let's check out the story. Well, there's several versions of it actually. If you check online, lots of stories on the matter. But Serap is on it, unsurprisingly really. Serap is on the matter, and I came across a tweet earlier today. The Buhari, this is courtesy Serap's official Twitter handle. The Buhari administration must immediately and unconditionally release Amina Mohammed, a student of the Federal University Dutsen, who was reportedly arrested over a post on Twitter allegedly criticizing the First Lady. Will see in court if he's not immediately released. That was Serap's tweet, and this was posted, I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah, I think on 27th, 2 days ago. Now, if you haven't heard the story, and I wonder why really, because that literally is all it's been discussed, especially on Twitter Space at the moment. If you check Twitter, the First Lady is trending, by the way, and she has been trending for some time right now, a couple of days actually, and it's basically very much related to the arrest of Amina Mohammed. Well, some of the stories go by different names, as a matter of fact, and so let's just one of the stories, one of the versions. This one cuts to the Vanguard newspaper. Police arrest student over claim Aisha Buhari ate poor people's money. The police have allegedly arrested the student Aminu Muhammad over a post on Twitter mocking the First Lady Aisha Buhari. Now, in June 2022, Muhammad had put up a tweet which reads in Hausa, well, I don't know how to speak that, but it was accompanied by a photograph of Aisha Buhari. Now, the tweet simply translates as Mama has eaten poor people's money and is now full, end of quote. Now, according to a report, Muhammad was initially arrested on November 18, but our correspondent gathered the student was allegedly arrested by the of Federal University of Dutse Jigawa. However, it's not clear if the student has been reconciled with his family or lawyer. And but once again, there are several reports. Some reports say that he was taken to a government house. Pardon me, he was taken to the presidential villa. As a matter of fact, and I've got another version of that story here somewhere. Like I said, I mean, there are several versions of the story literally everywhere. And this one from Premium Times: please forgive our son. Parents of arrested university students beg Aisha Buhari. We'll look at all of this in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll look at it in the 4 o'clock hour. And what I'm asking is, what I'll be asking you, what are the implications of Aminu Muhammad's arrest? What does this arrest tell us? Because there seems to be no doubting that indeed there was an arrest. And it appears from information available that it was based, or that his tweet some months ago, that concerned the First Lady was responsible or is responsible for that arrest. What does it tell us? I'll to get your take on that in the 4 o'clock hour. But also I'll be speaking with Kola Wololuwadare, Deputy Director with SERAP. He will join me via phone from Lagos in the 4 o'clock hour after the business news. Taking us to 5, the news update comes up then. And up next, INEC says, no retreat, no surrender. That was a nice movie from way back. It might not be a nice movie now, but it was good back then. I think there were 2 parts to it. No retreat, no surrender 1. No retreat, no surrender 2. I think. I remember if there was a 3rd part. Anyways, INEC says no retreat, no surrender. And here's the story I got that from, also courtesy Premium Times. Attacks on our facilities won't stop 2023 poll INEC chairman. INEC says the recent attacks on its facilities will not stop the conduct of the 2023 general election. INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu said this on Monday in Abuja. He received some persons, and he also acknowledged that some materials for the 2023 general election were lost in the attacks, but said INEC would replace them ahead of the elections. Now, the Commission's offices have been attacked in 3 states, Ogun, Osun, and Ebonyi State, in the last 3 weeks. Quote, in the last 3 weeks, 3 of our local government area offices were attacked in 3 different states of the Federation, and the last one occurred yesterday in the southeastern part of the country. Although there were no casualties, but quite a number of the materials already acquired and delivered for the elections have been lost. Now, the good thing is that so far we can recover from all the losses, but it's a source of concern. This shouldn't be allowed to continue. So we will continue to engage with security agencies to make sure that those offices, as well as personnel and our facilities, are protected ahead of the elections. So, well, once again, INEC says, in spite of these attacks, nothing is stopping the 2023 polls. We are forging ahead. Yeah, kind of like Christian soldiers marching onto war or something like that. I'll be asking you, are the attacks on INEC offices capable of stopping the 2023 polls? Or do you share the INEC chair's optimism and believe that none of these attacks can stop the coming elections? In the 5 o'clock hour, after the update, we got headlines 5:30 p.m. Major news comes up at 6, and a review of all these matters afterwards during the open season segment until about 7, when the show comes to an end. The sports gang will be in by 7 for extra time, and fingers crossed, there might be commentaries tonight. We've got World Cup games tonight, 4 p.m. features Group A matches, Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands, Qatar as well. Interesting. I think all the teams in Group A still have a chance of qualifying. I think so, looking at Group A right now. We got Netherlands on 4 points, Ecuador on 4 points, Senegal on 3 points, and Qatar on 0 points. Okay, Qatar is out. But the top 3 teams still have a chance of qualifying, so that's a very big game. Or those are big games, by the way, or very crucial games. Group B as well, we've got, and this is 8 p.m. kickoff time, Iran, USA, Wales, England. Let's see what's happening in Group B and see who's qualified and who still has a chance to qualify. So England is 4 points, Iran is 3 points, USA is 2 points, Wales is 1 point. So, well, it seems everybody still has a chance to qualify in Group B. So, promises to be entertaining as well. Catch the action on the Sports Gang, possibly from 7 p.m. later on tonight. That's a preview of what to expect on today's edition of Hard Facts. Let's keep the ball rolling now. Watch today's side comments. Random stories and random thoughts that caught my attention as I checked out the news earlier today. Remember, once again, that they're not up for discussion now. No, they're not, sir. The state is yet to decide on who to support in the 2023 presidential election. Governor Wike said this during the commissioning of the Rukpoku-Igruta Link Road. Let's take a listen to what the governor had to say on this matter. Just a moment, and here we are.
Vote for our governor, will you vote for our governor, will you vote for our senatorial candidate, will you vote for our House of Assembly candidate, will you vote for our assembly candidate, then General One, I'll come and tell you where we'll vote.
Okay, well, I mean, I'd like to imagine that the persons that the River State PD members, if they choose to be, after all, they are members of an association. And political parties, for all intents and purposes, are an association. So if an association determines or decides to, for example, vote in a certain way, I mean, that's fine. But I don't believe the governor, or anyone else for that matter, can tell everyone in general how to...
I am black, African. I am a Negro. Negritude. Ladies.
Number one talk station, I'm Dial, 26 past 3 p.m. and today's side comments continue. Apologies, by the way, for the abruptness of the commercial break. Returned, and I guess still have to get used to things once again. Anyway, so I was saying before that break, something about the governor, talking about telling people where to vote or who to vote. So if they're PDP members and they choose to submit their rights, to an individual, and that's perfectly fine. It's well within their choice to do so. And once again, they're members of an association. An association can decide, how it wants to collectively manage its affairs, or, for example, who to vote for. But I'm certain that no individual can tell the general populace how to vote or who to vote. That's very much their right, and they reserve the right to determine for themselves how they want to vote, whether they're in Lagos State, whether they're in Osun State, whether they're in Kwara State, whether they're in Nasarawa, whether they're in Kano, Kaduna, in Abuja, in Benue, whether they're in Bayelsa or in Rivers State. And that's the whole point of democracy, that people are able to take in information for themselves, process the information, and decide who they want to vote for. Not decide based on what one political leader or some honorable or excellency wants them to vote for. No, that's not how it works. Well, at least that's not how it's supposed to work. So, anyways. But I do wish the PDP the very best as an association, as far as whoever they choose to vote for, especially in Rivers State, and then wherever else for that matter. Oh, let's see. What else caught my attention on the news earlier on today? I believe there were a number of other issues that caught my attention. That's just a moment. Oh, yes. Oh, some great news, by the way. Some great news. We now have a new police intelligence and surveillance center on Eastern Bypass Road in Port Harcourt. It was commissioned yesterday. Just before he cut the ribbon at the event, the IG of Police, Akili Baba Usman, said the center will improve surveillance within and around Rivers State. Let's take a listen to the IG, the IGP, and what he had to say about this good thing. It's a good thing, as a matter of fact. So that's the moment, and here we go.
I want to assure you that police will make use judiciously of this center in collaboration with our cybercrime unit to tackle all forms of crimes and other criminalities. Technology will make a lot of things easier. There is going to be 247 patrol with ease because the whole of Port Harcourt will be under surveillance and will be captured in a sitting position in an air-conditioned room where it is called the control room. And you can also have the opportunity send a team that is on standby at the station.
Oh, goodness. Goodness. Can you imagine that? Police officers now have an air-conditioned room where they can receive information from. Goodness gracious. It's happening. It's happening. Nigeria is experiencing development. Police officers with air conditioning? Who would have thought it could have happened in my lifetime? God is good. God is good. God is good. I'm so touched right now I could almost weep. But it's a good thing. Once again, it's important to know that it's a very good thing. Now, on his part, the Rivers State Governor, Yesem Wike, commended the IGP for not playing politics with the issues of security. He said the centre is the state government's contribution to ensuring peace.
I want to say it on good authority that since you came, we have had peace, we have had good relationship with the police command. Unlike what used to happen before, where in 1 year we had over 8 commissioners of police. That is why today, Rivers people can count that this is one of the safest states. What we have done here, when you go in, you see by yourself. And I promise you, we are going to replicate another of this in the next 6 months to make sure that we are going to fight crime.
All right. Now, the Rivers State Police Commissioner, the protector of rights, the protector of rights, CPO Konefion, naturally had a few choice words as well. This was a quote from the Sun newspaper. Here's some of what he had to say. You can sit and police... No, not that one. Here's the one. Well, he did say as well that the donation of the Intelligence and Surveillance Center by the Wike administration is another of his outstanding and unflinching support to the police in the state. He informed that there are about 150 CCTV cameras installed in strategic places across Port Harcourt and connected to the centre to keep the city under the surveillance radar on 24 hours basis daily. The governor had earlier provided for the installation of CCTV security and surveillance cameras at all the entry and exit points in the state. He has also graciously given approval for the installation of cameras in all the major cities in the state. In Port Harcourt, for instance, about 150 cameras are being mounted. What this translates to is that from this centre, the entire state will come under a surveillance radar that will be active 24/7. And once again, this is good. This is progress. This is progress. It's very good, and it's commendable that the Rivers State government has done this. It's a good thing the police have access to this facility. But there are questions as well, and I can't help it really. I can't help it. I mean, you've got to ask government questions. That's how these things work, as a matter of fact. So these 150 cameras, where exactly are they? You know, and did anyone certify that 150 cameras were actually purchased and installed? Did anybody actually confirm this, or we're just the people are supposed to just take the word of whoever said it, that 150 cameras were purchased and have been installed or are being installed? Once again, the Rivers State House of Assembly, who, by the way, has the responsibility of oversight functions over the executive, did any committee or the House of Assembly as a whole investigate this or confirm or determine that indeed these cameras were purchased and either have been installed or are being installed? And where exactly are they being installed as well? What is the strategy here? You know, and also how much was budgeted for this? How much was expended on this? And where did the money come from? And once again, these questions take nothing away from how important this initiative is. These questions take nothing away from the relevance of this initiative. These questions take nothing away from how good it is, because it is good. To borrow a common expression, it's a welcome development. But these questions must be asked as well, and government has a responsibility to provide answers to these questions. And speaking of accountability, we'll get to that in a moment. It forms some parts of today's rant, but I'll get to that in a bit. But I'd like to end my thoughts on this Police Intelligence and Surveillance Center by saying it's a good initiative. It's a very much welcome development. I do hope indeed that the 150 cameras were purchased, have been installed, or are being installed. I hope that they are being installed strategically as well to serve all the good people of Rivers State everywhere in Rivers State. Once again, I'd like to clarify. I hope that they are being installed to protect the good people of Rivers State, not to be confused with the well-meaning people of Rivers State. I hope the cameras are not only for the well-meaning people, but for the good for the good people of Rivers, the GPRS. And if you don't get the distinction, hopefully before the year comes to an end, it will come to you. It will come to you. Just might. Keep your fingers crossed. Was there anything else that caught my attention today? I'm not sure about that. I think that might just be it. I think that's going to be for today's side comments. But maybe just a quick look if I got any interesting messages over here. Well, there's a commenter saying that you can't be told where the cameras are installed. That's police intelligence. There's no need for any oversight function in this case. As a matter of fact, there is. There's nothing that government does that is beyond oversight. There isn't. There's no action of government that's beyond oversight. Anyways, so that's for today's side comments. I go for a break. When I return, today's rant comes up. Do please stay with us.
You are tuned in to
Hello and welcome back. It is Hard Factor Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dial, and I'd like to rant for just a bit. I've got something in my mind. I'll be expressing some thoughts on it, and you're very welcome to express your thoughts of mine till 4 p.m. Got a few minutes to go before then. And you might consider today's rant as maybe a slight continuation. I'm picking something from some of my side comments, and it has to do with the word which I've used severally. Accountability. I find that I might sound like a broken record again today on the show, because today's rant serves as a reminder to everyone. By everyone, I don't just mean people in government, honorables or excellencies, but even the electorate as well, followers, everyone, because literally we're all stakeholders in this. A reminder to everyone that there can't be good governance without accountability. And I'd like to repeat that for emphasis sake. There cannot be good governance without accountability. And maybe, I don't know, they say third time's the charm, right? All right, let's do the third time. There can't be good governance without accountability. And it doesn't matter what's done. It doesn't matter how fantastic the projects are or the initiatives are, or how well, maybe they even save a baby from drowning. And that's good. It's good that we save babies from drowning. And maybe it saves somebody who was kidnapped. And that's fantastic, by the way. Or even it prevents the kidnap from happening in the first place. And that's great and that's brilliant, because that's what we want government to do. But all of those things, and maybe government initiative or government project even raised somebody from the dead. I mean that. I mean, brought back somebody who was stone cold dead and brought the person back to life. And we can sing and dance and rejoice about that. But none of that, not even raising the dead, will be considered good governance if accountability is missing. Because at the very foundation of governance is accountability. Take accountability away, even if we go about raising the dead, it's still not good governance. And why am I on about accountability, especially at this time? Because once again, not just in Rivers State, as is happening across the country and even at the national level, preparations are being made for next year's budget. The 2023 budget, it's an annual ritual, you know. Executives present a proposal, a budget proposal to the legislature. They do whatever it is they do with it, and they send it back to the executive for his assent. He signs it, it becomes law, and that is supposed to be the financial template that will be used in running the state, or at the national level, running the country for another 12 months. In this case, for the year 2023. And I think about 6 days ago, the Rivers State Governor presented the budget estimates for next year to the Rivers State House of Assembly. And here is the latest on that development from our news earlier today. The Rivers State House of Assembly has sent the over 550 billion naira 2023 budget estimate to the House Committee on Appropriation after it passed second reading on the floor of the House yesterday. Now, debating on the 2023 appropriation estimate, member representing the Kwere constituency, Anselm Ogugo, said a 350 billion naira earmark for capital expenditure is clear evidence that the appropriation estimate, if passed into law, will speed up development. Here's some of what he had to say.
Mr. Speaker, the proper budget, basically the capital expenditure has to exceed the current expenditure. And if you go into budget properly, you see that clear capital expenditure exceeds the recovery. That is the fact that His Excellency has the passion, has the mind to be provoked. Mr. Speaker, I want to let you know by saying that I'm totally, and my constituency totally in support of this project.
Leader of the House, Martin Omewole, said he has to support of his constituents to move for the speedy passage of the budget estimate following the achievement of the governor in the 2022 budget.
Mr. Speaker, my people have asked me to speak very favorably for this And therefore, all the guys to go the same line, so there's no time to waste. When you have a leader, a governor that is ready to put smiles on the faces of our people, we cannot be the ones to start the government back. And therefore, all the members through the line so that we can make progress on this appropriation bill and hope that in the coming days we have it passed because Rivers people cannot wait to get more of the dividends of the government. Thank you.
All right. Now, if the budget meets, the proper conditions, I mean, why not? The Rivers House of Assembly should pass it speedily. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose, theoretically speaking. But I would like to ask Honourable Martin Amewule, who says he has the support of his constituents to move for the speedy passage of this budget estimate following the achievements of the governor in the 2022 budget. On what basis did Honourable Martin Amewule's constituents make that conclusion? What I'm asking is, the constituents of Honourable Martin Amewule, are they privy to the contents of the 2022 budget? Did they see it? Did they see what the budget estimates were, or what the budget was for the year 2022? Did they see the appropriation for 2022? Did they see what the state government planned to do? Planning being the operative term here. Did they see what the income and expenditure proposed for the state for the year was? Did they see, and at the end of the year, or as we are drawing to the end of the year 2022, can they do an assessment of the budget implementation for the year 2022 so that thus they can come to the conclusion that yes, the 2022 budget was a very effective one, very well implemented, and as such, we want you to speedily pass the 2023 budget. On what basis has this assessment been made, assuming but not concluding that such an assessment was made in the first place? And like I said earlier on, yes, it's the flyovers are beautiful, they're nice, and some of the other projects we're implementing, and this police crime intelligence thing, it's good, it's good, they're good. But governments are not assessed strictly or simply based on how many buildings are put up. Governments anywhere, in Rivers State, in Kano State, in Lagos State, at the federal government level, any sensible society in the world does not assess its government based on how many roads or flyovers it put up. No. Because once again, the funds that are used in putting up these flyovers, the funds used in putting up these buildings and structures, the funds used in putting up the projects, the funds are not the pocket money of the executive. It's not the allowance of the executive. And it is not done based on the magnanimity of the executive. It's a job and it's got to be done. And the monies used in putting this project up, once again, is not coming from the personal bank account of the executive, be it a governor or the president or even a local government chairman for that matter. It's the state's resources and they must be accounted for. Now, since the inception of this administration in 2015, was it 2015? I think that may be the last time that we've seen anything that can cogently be referred to as a budget for Rivers State. Now, there is a website that is generally acknowledged to provide comprehensive financial information as far as all the states are concerned in the country, including at the national level as well, the federal government, including budgets of all the states and the country also. And you will find the budgets of most states, if not all states, on their site. And that's Budget. That organization is called Budget, Budgit. And just to confirm, I went there again. And after 2015, the next thing you see there is a 2018 revisited approved budget, which, if I remember correctly, I think I went over that document back then. And there are lots of question marks as regards that document, but we will not x-ray that right now. However, So after 2015, the next time a River State budget appears in the public space, especially on this site, is 2018. And after 2018, there's been nothing again. So 2019, nothing. 2020, nothing. 2021, nothing. 2022, nothing as well. And now we are preparing with a lot of, pomp and pageantry, a lot of fanfare, and we want to expedite and pass very quickly and all of that 2023's budget. And then who is going to see that? Things are good. Projects excite people, and some of our mothers like to wear Ankara and tie wrapper and dance anyway, and maybe that's good also. And the flyovers are not bad, they add to the aesthetics in a manner of speaking, depending on your perspective, I suppose. And they may help with traffic as well, especially in some instances, if not all. And providing infrastructure for the police is good also. All of these things are fantastic and putting up schools. But it all amounts to nothing if government is not accountable for what. Because it doesn't matter. You do so. Else, we literally. But this is that what this is. For you, it's not log. I reject to live a monologue. It must be a part of that conversation. Via Facebook, anything of Nazareth, the River State, and the House of Assembly cannot be doing something the same way and expect a different result. The budget should be tagged budget of the budget will always.
But the way those guys they passed that budget, and the most annoying part, and truly, sorry, I'm going to use a stretchy word here, because the most disgusting part of that presentation, that budget, is how bad they are looking at we River State people, the good people of River State, I should say. They think we're not some kind of dummies and things. I don't know. There is no proper breakdown. If you permit me to say so. And the truth of the matter is, none of these things they did today, that day, when they passed that, it was up to now, they are still passing it. Not they even make any sense till now. And this is how our money has been going. It's a shame. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Ernest Manel, go ahead.
The truth about it is that accountability is purely yardstick to measure good governance. And it is unfortunate that in our country, Nigeria, and in particular River State, we don't see that as a yardstick. And that is an error. And until we get this right, until we are able to put it, to have a body that is responsible to call for accountability, nothing's going to get right. It will be a politics of I do this, I do that, this one did not do that. And that just ends. And we clap and everybody go home. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Via Facebook, Manfred Gabriel goes, budget of flyover. I expected them to pass it on the same day it was presented. Well, I mean, even for the River State House of Assembly, that would be stretching it, really. At least I think that would be stretching it, even for the... I've got some more comments over here, really. Good evening, Dial. It's unfortunate that corruption has become a mainstay in our country. I'm sure you'll soon hear stuff like, all the states that are passing visible budget, what have they achieved? It's unfortunate that we're so bastardized by bad leadership that we don't even know what is bad anymore. Yeah. Dial, welcome back. Whether they call it project money, trader money, or feed-in money, it should be accounted for because it's our commonwealth and not personal pocket money. And that's what it is, really, And I'd like to read part of a previous comment I read a while ago. Something about very soon you'll hear stuff like, all the states that are passing visible budgets, what have they achieved? Well, those who are from those states can query and should query. They should query. They should ask the questions and query the content and the implementation of those budgets. But the fact of the matter is that there must be a budget. There has to be. It's not even negotiable. And what's even more interesting is, I remember when the River State campaign office at the debate organized by Nigeria Info in conjunction with Channels TV. I think there may have been others involved as well. The River State governor said quite clearly then that he was going to operate an open budgeting system, and any official of his government who did not immediately make the budget accessible to people was going to be sanctioned immediately. Where is all of that gone in about 8 years? Where is all of that gone? Once again, buildings are good, roads are good, infrastructure is fantastic. But all of that amounts to nothing. It's not if we do not have accountability. I've got a commercial break to attend to, but I will return shortly to take more of your responses to today's rant. Do stay tuned. Hard Fact to be back in a bit. To Nigeria Info and her input Hargotem dial. Maybe I can take another call or two before wrapping this segment up on my rant today. Call 0700 923 0923. And in case you missed what it was about, well, the River State House of Assembly is currently considering the budget proposal presented to it by the governor about 2 weeks ago or so. And in the 8 years or so of this administration, questions have been asked about the whereabouts of the state's budget, and maybe only once in 2018 was something presented as River State's budget, which once again has lots of question marks attached to it, as a matter of fact. And like I said, while buildings are good and roads are good and projects is good, and even if government brings the dead back to life, all of that does not classify as good governance if accountability is thrown out the window, because the money is used in bringing back the dead to life. It's not the executive's allowance. No, it's not. It's not the executive's pension money that's used in doing that. No, it's the state's coffers. It's public money, and it must be accounted for. And the people must see what the proposals are, and they must see how it has been implemented. Must, non-negotiable. All right, a few more comments possibly to wrap up this conversation. Let's see. You better give up on the River State House of Assembly and their budget. You've almost scraped yourself hoarse the last 7 years. You've even arrogated to yourself the office of Senior Special Advisor to the Governor, believing that things will change yet nothing. They have ears but won't hear. Give up. Welcome, Di. I can remember one Mr. Billy Arime, who was in charge of Budget and Appropriations Agency of Rivers and Bayelsa. I remember that man shouted on top of his voice on the secrecy of the River State government to no avail in the early years of Wike's first tenure. Now, in the long term, that man has remained silent. It's unfortunate, and that's with Michael. Well, we have to wrap this up, and I don't know. Well, I guess the people also have a responsibility of holding their governments.
The details.
The stories.
With the